Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the SLG Network for our second installment of Fantasy Football Tips. Today, Calvin and I will be going over the top running backs that you should target. We are going to for sure have differences and we will have some, agreements. But
Probably.
yeah, we will see what happens. All right, Calvin. Do you
Mm.
want to start first since I went first yesterday?
Sure,
All right.
sure. Um, do we want to do honorable mentions first, or do we want to wait until after?
I was thinking that we could go honorable mentions. We'll do two
Honorable
honorable
mentions.
mentions. Yeah.
Okay, two honorable mentions. Okay.
Yeah.
My first honorable mention, which this is probably going to surprise you, is Alvin Kamara.
All right.
Looming suspension. Don't really know what his season's going to look like. That's the only reason I don't have him top 10. Rumor has it that's getting pushed back to 2023. Can't confirm nor deny, so I'm just going to stay clear of that. Um, And then the other honorable mention I got is Leonard Fournette because the dude's just a goal line monster for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
They have no Gronk. We talked about it yesterday. Their security blanket now is kind of their running back position. So Leonard
Yeah.
Fournette at the goal line is a touchdown monster, just not good enough to crack my top 10, though.
Yeah. My honorable mentions. I will go Ezekiel Elliott.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, man. He doesn't. He's just not a top 10 for me anymore. He hasn't been a top 10 for like the past 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I just feel like at the end of the day, it's safer to not draft him at all unless you can get him in the low first, high second.
I
And
wouldn't even touch
honestly,
him then.
I wouldn't either. But I mean, if you're short on running backs, you're hurting for one, you might as well.
True. That's
Uh,
true.
Somebody actually didn't even keep him in my dynasty league the other day. Yeah, they threw him back out.
Yeah, he's the first pick, but
Yeah, but
well, maybe.
it depends. Yeah, and then my second honorable mention will be Saquon. I
Mm.
do not like Saquon one bit for fantasy. Saquon is always hurt, always hurt. And I know we can make the argument about Christian McCaffrey, but we will get to Christian McCaffrey when we get there. Uh,
Yeah, we will.
yeah.
Or will we?
So we will. So with all that being said,
Yeah.
who's your number 10?
Number 10, I got Joe Mixon. It's
Oh,
going to
okay.
surprise some people. But we talked about it yesterday with the quarterbacks list. Joe Burrow getting an upgraded offensive line means they're probably going to take a step forward in the passing game. That should reduce Joe Mixon's workload a little bit. He'll still run for 1,000 yards. He'll probably still have 7, 8 touchdowns, catch 20 to 30 balls somewhere in there. But I got 9 guys on my list who I think are going to have a better year overall.
Okay. It's understandable. I have Aaron Jones at my 10. Uh your team over there at Green Bay doesn't have Devonta Adams anymore.
True.
And they don't even have MVS anymore. I
Nope.
honestly don't know who they have except for a rookie. And
Mm.
yeah, I feel Aaron Jones is gonna have to have a workload like crazy this year. And he's great for PPR. He can catch, he can run, all of that. So Aaron Jones for sure is gonna be a top 10 running back, just
Absolutely.
like he has been for the past couple years when he
Yeah.
came out of nowhere. So yeah.
He always finds a way to sneak into the top 10 somehow, too. He doesn't necessarily have like a dominant year the entire year, but he has a couple big games where he'll score 2, 3
Well, no,
touchdowns. And
his
then,
his first year when he came out of nowhere, yeah, no, he
yeah.
he had a dominant year, but
But I
yeah,
want to say the last 2 years, he's been like, it's been weird how he's been a top 10 running back, but it doesn't seem like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have Aaron Jones, you know you're going to get points. Like,
100%.
yeah.
100%.
So
Reliable.
if yeah, for sure, he's most likely going late first, early second.
Yep.
I don't see him going within the first round at all,
Mm.
except if somebody's just a really diehard Aaron Jones fan and just really wants him.
Mm.
Like I know one year I played fantasy in 2019. Their first round pick was Devonta Freeman with the fourth pick overall. So yeah, I've seen all kinds of crazy things happen.
Loyalty in fantasy football is like love and business. It just, you can't do both of those
I
things together.
would not draft Davis Mills, even though I'm a diehard Texans fan.
I would draft Aaron Jones. and I'm a diehard
Obviously.
Packers fans. What do you got at number 9?
Number 9, I have Alvin Kamara.
Okay.
It's like you said, the looming suspension for him, sticking that dude in the face in the casino. But they don't know what's going on with it yet, obviously. So my whole point of him being in top 10 is he's still Alvin Kamara. If they don't figure out what's going on with the suspension and you draft him within the next few days, few weeks before all this, that's the greatest trade bait you could possibly have. You got Alvin Kamara right there. You can easily trade him with someone else, make the deal look sweet, get you a top 1 running back if you need.
Yeah.
So,
package up for a wide receiver too, either way.
Exactly. Yeah. So Alvin Kamara, he's always going to get you points when he's playing, for sure. So if he's not playing, use him for trade bait. If he is,
Absolutely.
Then he's going to put up numbers like always. He's a wide receiver that runs. Like, that's basically all it is. I remember 2 years ago, he was leading the NFL in receiving yards, and he's a running back. So
yeah, he's literally Christian McCaffrey 2.0. He's a bigger bodied Christian McCaffrey is what
he's Christian McCaffrey that doesn't get hurt. Yes,
exactly. Yeah. And by the way, he's been drafted at the end of the 3rd round right now. Is his average ADP?
Yeah, it's
if
insane.
you could get him there, snag
Do
it,
it,
and then trade it immediately. Absolutely.
And even if you don't trade him, you can always hold him. The suspension, I guarantee you, isn't going to be the whole year.
I mean, Deshaun Watson had 33 cases, only got 6 games. We're probably looking at maybe a 4-game suspension at most for
They're overturning his. They're overturning it. So
we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. That's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
Number 9, I got Aaron Jones.
All right.
Pretty similar spotting there. I will say that you said it best. The wide receiver scene in Green Bay isn't necessarily the greatest, and people forget how deceptively good Aaron Jones' hands are. He has some of the best receiving hands in the NFL for a running back. So PPR monster probably this year. Probably expect north of 50 to 60 receptions. Don't know how much he's going to be involved on the goal line with AJ Dillon there, but the yardage the receiving alone should give him top 10 fantasy value. I agree.
AJ Dillon, little Derrick Henry. Yeah.
Little Derrick Henry. Yeah. Thunder and
lightning.
lightning.
Yeah. Love and thunder. So who do you have? Who do you have at number 8?
I think this is where we see our little difference to start. Because I have Christian McCaffrey at number 8.
All right.
And I have Christian McCaffrey at number 8 for one reason only. Availability is the best ability, and we just don't seem to get availability from Christian McCaffrey. So if he's available around pick 8, running backs are usually the thing that flies off the board first. If he's available around pick 8, he's a great grab. Anywhere before that, I have 7 better running backs that I truly value and think will be available for the whole season.
Yeah.
And when it comes to fantasy football, if your number 1 pick gets injured, you're pretty much out for that year.
Yeah. At number 8, I have Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is for sure one of. Ow. I'm allergic to puss boys. Nick Chubb is one of the for sure best running backs in this league. My only issue, he has Kareem Hunt over there.
Sure.
Kareem Hunt is Kareem Hunt, best kicker in the league, but also great running back. He's always going to take away from Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
But there's also, Kareem Hunt requested a trade the other day because he didn't get re-signed with the Browns. But until that happens, I don't feel confident drafting him anywhere before the end of the first. There's no way I would take him super high.
Sure.
And I saw that he's going in the early seconds lately. So
perfect.
There's always a case to draft him for sure. The only way I would take him really, really high in the first is if my top 5 are gone and I have the mid pick. And I absolutely need a running back I know is going to give me points, which is Nick Chubb. But like I said, until all this, nonsense with Kareem Hunt is done, there's no way I can put him any higher. But I definitely can't put him any less.
Yeah, understandably so too.
Yeah.
Number 7, I have DeAndre Swift out of Detroit. He is a workhorse back. Jamal Williams will get the goal line touches a good portion of the time.
Yeah.
However, what people don't realize is that in DeAndre Swift's 10 games last year, I'm pretty sure he led running backs with receptions.
Yeah.
He is a check down monster for Jared Goff, who does not have the arm to throw downfield like most quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
He'll make up a lot of the points that he missed at the goal line once again in PPR formats where he's receiving the ball out of the backfield and then he runs for 20, 30 yards. And dude's a monster, dude. I don't know many people that can tackle DeAndre Swift one-on-one.
You're right. He's really good, but he plays for Detroit. I just don't feel confident with it, and he tends to get hurt a little bit. So
he does.
He didn't even make my top 10, mainly for those reasons. And you know, it is what it is. DeAndre Swift is obviously a great pick if he's available and it makes sense. Go for it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I don't have any confidence putting him in my top 10.
The only reason, I mean, the feeling in Detroit from somebody who watches them 2 times a year, maybe even more if my Packers aren't playing, is that the Detroit Lions are somewhat starting to build a little foundation there with a culture change at head coach. It starts down to running back. They love to pound the football. Yeah. And I'm truly buying into the fact that DeAndre Swift should stay healthy year 3. And I think he's going to explode on the running back scene.
Yeah. Number 7, I have Joe Mixon. I believe Joe Mixon will probably have a pretty good year. It's like we said, the O-line was the greatest upgrade they could have possibly looked for. Yes, they'll pass, but Joe Mixon's also a pretty good receiver. So I believe Joe Mixon's probably going to have way better season as long as he can stay healthy.
There it is.
Yeah, he's always injury prone type thing. I know it's hypocritical about DeAndre Swift, but he plays for the Bengals instead of the Lions, you know, so kind of.
I tell you what, before last year, nobody was said there was any difference between those two situations.
Yeah, 1,000%. But with the way things are looking for, Cincinnati versus Detroit, you know, you kind of have to go with it.
That's true. I can agree with that.
He also doesn't have Giovanni Bernard over there anymore, who was his number one threat for snaking points. He's over there snaking them from Leonard Fournette at Tampa Bay now.
Yep.
So Joe Mixon, 1,000% better year. Number 6, I have Najee Harris. So there's no quarterback over there now at Pittsburgh. They have, I believe they said Mason Rudolph is their starter, which is fucking horrifying. They don't have Juju anymore.
Nope.
So honestly, I feel like Najee Harris is probably going to have a bell cow situation this year. He's going to be the number 1 over there like he was last year, but he's going to put up numbers because he has to.
Yeah.
So 1,000%, he's easily a top 10 pick for me. He's probably going to go around the first for, dumb people who just really feel like he's going to be the number 1. I believe he's actually the number 6 overall ranked running back right now, 6 or 5, something like that. So
if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely going to go where he's supposed to go, but I'm sure he's going to drop to the late first to some people. And if he's there, scoop him up.
100%. He is trending as RB4 right now, which I think is a little high as well. But at number 6, I have Nick Chubb. Because everything you said was 100% correct. One of the most talented running backs in the league. He can catch pretty well. He's bigger than his handcuff at running back, so he should get like a lot of goal line touches. However, Kareem Hunt has been stealing them in years past. The whole Kareem Hunt situation is kind of interesting and maybe even plays more into value for Nick Chubb, where he might get traded or he might sit out because he wants a new contract. That would only be good things for Nick Chubb fantasy owners in fantasy football. So I got Nick Chubb at number 6. At number 6. At number 5, I have Najee Harris. Right above you. I 100% agree. I think what'll end up happening is Mitch Trubisky will probably end up being the quarterback to start the season over there.
Yeah.
After training camp, after preseason, he wasn't the greatest quarterback for running back owners when he was in Chicago, but I feel like Mike Tomlin's system is going to be a bell cow system for Najee Harris to open up the outside for Deontay Johnson and that whole wide receiving core over there. So I got Najee Harris at 5 strictly because of the volume he's going to receive, and he averages 3.7 yards per carry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes complete sense. At number 5, I have CMC, Christian McCaffrey. He's due, man. Like, he's always hurt. He's the Mike Trout of the NFL, man.
That's true.
Best running back in the league for years. Like maybe one of the best running backs of all time for sure. And he's always hurt. I'm almost positive, with COVID not being as a big a thing as it was last year, and how, if somebody rolled their ankle, they were out for 6 weeks because they were worried about every little thing. Mm-hmm. This year, I feel like he's gonna have to have a good year. He's gonna go off. Do I feel confident drafting him number 1 overall? No, I don't. Not at all in any way. Nope. Do I feel confident taking him in the middle of the first round if I have to? Yeah, for sure. And it's CMC. He's going to give you points while he plays. He's also going to be great to trade if you need to. There's plenty of other people you can take in the second, third that are going to get you pretty good points, so it doesn't matter. But overall, if he's on the board within the first 5 picks and you're up, take him.
Yeah, especially in PPR formats, he's a monster. When he's
healthy. Yeah, he's insane. He's 1,000% going to get you all kinds of points. So
that's true.
CMC. Number 4. This is where people are going to hate me. I got Derrick Henry. Broken foot ass.
Yeah.
Dude's a monster. Number 1 running back in the league for like 2-3 years in a row. I don't see him having a great year. Mainly because, dude, Tennessee sucks ass this year. Tennessee's lost all kinds of shit. They let go of A.J. Brown just to get that rookie, which means they're going to try and turn Derrick Henry into an even more of a bell cow than he already is.
Yep.
He's 1,000% either going to overdo it, get hurt, or just not have that great of a year because everybody knows that he's coming. So I don't see it happening as another amazing year for him. But at the end of the day, he's still Derrick Henry. He's going to truck. He's going to get you what you need. But personally, I don't feel taking him overall number 1 is the best thing to do it anyway.
Yeah, I agree with the not taking him number 1 overall. We'll see where Derrick Henry ends up on my end. Number 4, I got Austin Eckler.
Okay.
There is probably less people in like I don't even know how to put it. There's less people in this world that believe in Austin Eckler than me. I love Austin Eckler so much so I took him. I want to say it was 5th overall last year in so many leagues because I just genuinely believed he was going to be a top end back, and he ended up being a top end back. He's great out of the backfield in the passing game, which is a dynamic thing over in LA, especially with Justin Herbert at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He runs well. He averaged, I want to say, the 14th most touches of all backs in the NFL, which is a pretty high stat considering how few workhorses there are. So based on pure volume, unless they just start running the ball every single game 30 times, Austin Eckler should end up around number 3, number 4 spot.
Yeah.
So number 3, I got Dalvin Cook. Last year was the number 5 running back in touches per game, and he was number 11 overall with fantasy points. He wasn't completely healthy though, and he's falling a lot in most drafts because people seem to think that like he's starting to have the Christian McCaffrey effect where he's falling down the draft board because of prior years being injured. Still one of the most talented backs, and you know how much I love whenever a new offensive player has a rookie head coach or somebody coming in new to change up the system.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should only benefit Dalvin Cook because he is the most talented offensive player on that team. So Dalvin Cook at 3 makes the most sense to me.
Yeah. At number 3, I have Dalvin Cook as well. So yeah, makes complete sense to me. He's still always going to have that ACL injury. But he's proven that he can come back from it. He had the Adrian Peterson situation over there in Minnesota, man. Like tore the ACL, came back, had a monster season, and had multiple ones after. So at the end of the day, Dalvin Cook makes sense in the third with the 3rd pick if you have him overall. So
absolutely,
I have no issue with that. The only issue that you would have would be Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson over there, but Dalvin Cook is going to get you points as a running back 1,000%. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So yeah. At number 2, I have Austin Eckler, PPR god. Austin
100%.
Eckler for sure will get you all kinds of touchdowns, all kinds of points, catching, rushing, everything that you could possibly imagine, as long as he's healthy.
Mm.
He had that issue last year, the year before. I actually drafted him and traded him in my dynasty that year right before he got hurt, and it was great. Well, for me, it wasn't great because he
Right.
got hurt, but yeah. But luckily, it was just a hamstring injury. It wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
So he's proven that no matter what, he's gonna get you points. 1000% Austin Eckler locked and loaded. He's my second overall.
He's a top 4 running back no matter what.
Yeah.
As long as that hamstring doesn't linger, then he's 100% fine.
Yeah.
Number 2, Derrick Henry. Because of a lot of the things you already said, but opposite results from the beliefs that happened from them. I think Tennessee is going to suck this year. But I believe Derrick Henry, even if you have 11 stacked in the box, will still find a way to rush for 4 yards per carry. He's just a monster, and he has been. And until he falls out of the top 3 for fantasy running backs, that's not due to an injury necessarily, because he came back and looked okay. I have 100% faith Derrick Henry will still be a top 2 back.
Yeah. At number 1, it's not going to be a surprise to anyone. Yeah, I'm down. 1,
all right,
2, 3. 1,
Jonathan
2.
Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. Sure. We'll just.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor. I drafted him last year with my, I believe, 4th overall pick. No. I took him in the 2nd or 3rd. Because he was a nobody. It was his rookie season, or the year before, whenever it was, rookie season. Drafted him, and I've kept him ever since. In my dynasty, I kept him as my rookie for dynasty, and he proved to be exactly what I needed him to be. He came out swinging last year out of nowhere. He was number 1 overall, 1000%, because Derrick Henry got injured. But even without that, I believe he had 1,811 yards. Something like that last year.
Sounds about right.
It was ridiculous. The guy was a monster. He was coming out and putting up like 40 points a game, like every game.
And he had 18 touchdowns too.
Yeah, 18 touchdowns for a running back is ridiculous.
So LT numbers. Only 23 years old too, which is crazy, especially if this is a keeper league and it's just starting out. Jonathan Taylor is not even a question. You can go Najee Harris at 2 if you really want to, but Jonathan Taylor is the number 1 overall pick. Couple stats throw in here. He's also a really good receiving back. He had 40 receptions last year, which is something people don't talk about. Almost 400 receiving yards. When you go back and look overall, he had the most red zone touches in the NFL, 92. He had 42 carries inside the 10-yard line, which were 10 more than Damian Harris, who was the second most with 30. The other thing to mention is that no quarterback targeted running backs more than Matt Ryan last year at 9 targets per game. So he had great receiving numbers last year. With Matt Ryan there, he loves checking down to running backs. You could see even more increased production in the receiving game there. So Jonathan Taylor shouldn't even be a question, number 1 overall.
And Jonathan Taylor always was getting snaked by Nyheim Hines and Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack is out of that equation now because he's over with my Texans. Nyheim Hines, 1,000%, is not snaking anything from Jonathan Taylor this year.
No.
Jonathan Taylor has proven he is running back number 1 over there, and he's going to be for a long time.
100%.
So if you have first pick, Jonathan Taylor. There's no way.
Not even a question.
Not a question in any way. You go anyone else, you're completely wrong. I'm very sorry, but it is what it is.
Even super flex dynasty leagues, don't worry about a quarterback. If you have the first overall pick, you draft Jonathan Taylor. No matter the situation, could be IDP sacks are worth 100 points. You draft Jonathan Taylor. I don't care.
I'm very sorry. If you draft a quarterback with your first round pick, you're wrong. Anyways, that's terrible.
Well,
but
super flex leagues, it's very common, but it's wrong.
Still it's stupid. But yeah, Jonathan Taylor, first overall pick, locked and loaded. That's it.
Not even a question.
Yeah, no other way.
Any shockers that you surprised didn't make the list? On my end or on your end? I mean, I guess
you didn't have Saquon in either, so I mean,
no,
or Zeke. So
I love Saquon. I just hate the fact that he can't stay healthy. However, he does appeal to me a little bit. Maybe end 3rd round because of the new head coach situation there. I just don't know if he can stay healthy.
Yeah. So and that's always going to be his issue now. He came in, rookie season got hurt. Season after that got hurt again. So I mean, that's always going to be his thing until he proves that he can have a whole season without being hurt. That's what he's going to be.
Absolutely.
And that's what everyone's going to treat him as, which, they kind of have to.
That's who he is now.
It is. You're right. An honorable mention, I will say, would be James Conner. James Conner, when he was at Pittsburgh, was one of my favorite running backs to pick every year. And he's shown that over there with the Cardinals, he's going to do really good as long as he has the opportunity. So, for sure, if James Conner is on the board in the third, no problem with taking him.
I'm putting you on the spot here because I have one, and I want to know if you do too. Do you have any sleeper backs that somebody should draft this year?
Sleeper backs? My sleeper back for the year every year was always Chris Carson, but he has since retired because of his neck injuries.
Sure.
And he will be getting a fat check from the Seahawks because they wanted to take care of him, which is great. Sleeper back this year, always going to be Cordell Patterson.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I hate fantasy sites that make you choose running back or wide receiver for his position, but I love that pick. Mine, I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the value. More. Go ahead.
One more. It would be Dalvin Cook's little brother.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes. James Cook up in.
Yeah. He's in Buffalo, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it seems like
I want him. Yeah, I want him to be great. He's Dalvin Cook's little brother. He plays with Josh Allen. I want him to be great. I want him to be the number one sleeper of this year because everyone wants his older brother.
100%. I'm also going rookie with mine. I don't know why, but he's so enticing to me. Breece Hall, I really think because of volume, he's just going to somehow make it towards the top 15. I don't understand why, but I just truly feel he's going to.
He may not get you multiple wins or anything, but I have a feeling he's probably going to put up some numbers. Dameon Pierce with the Texans.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Dameon Pierce is apparently been the number one running back over at Houston at the moment between him and Marlon Mack. They're both going to be fighting for that spot from here on out. And as much as I love my Texans, I am also a realist when it comes to fantasy football and football in general. You usually don't draft Texans players unless it's Brandon Cooks.
Yep.
So I that's why I'm saying he's a sleeper. I want him to do great. But if you need somebody and he's available and it's the late round, for sure, pick up Dameon Pierce.
Snag him. Quick mention for people who made it to this part of the video. Two things. Number one, if you made it to this part, make sure you hit like, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you disagree, agree, if you think there's somebody that we forgot. Number two, in the late round, don't forget to draft handcuffs. Okay? People get injured.
Yes.
Not hard.
For sure. Yeah. If you drafted somebody with with your first round pick, try and get a handcuff because I guarantee you the second someone gets hurt, there's going to be somebody like me who knows about it. So
that and make sure you draft Carolina's backup running back every single year.
Yeah.
I think you'll see us next time with wide receivers. Until then, we're out of here, Joe.
Yep. Later.